Good evening. My name is Dana Lynn Morangi, and I'm delighted to be on this support call tonight I'm honored actually to be sharing this, what brings us together tonight, which is the technology, the community, and the mission, vision, and values of a superfood company that stands for the words pure and premium. And I find it to be a very value-driven mission that really matches my own. It matches my own in terms of community, in terms of the environment, in terms of health, and in terms of giving an opportunity for people that want it to add a second stream or third or a fourth stream of income to their life. I am going on my 4th year. In November, I will celebrate 4 years with the company and have had personally a huge impact on my health. I feel so much more stable physically and mentally having this in my life, and I'm really excited to share it with people. I find that this lifestyle for me is really about living a lifestyle that is has a low toxic load on my body and on the environment. And by reducing that toxic load, then that's what allows us to thrive. And so this 90-day protocol that we are venturing through this fall and cycling throughout the year is really about flooding our cells, saturating our cells with dense nutrition. So in that dense food availability, the body can then rebalance itself. It really gives the body a leg up. I think that some of the other things that I love about this effort is that we are supporting farmers, regenerative farmers all over the world, those farmers that are really making choices to reduce the toxic load in general. So this whole process is about changing and supporting our detoxing pathways. And therefore, we're doing the same in our environment. So the goal through this 5-product protocol is to reduce processed foods, to reduce acidic forming foods in the body, turn the body into a bit more of an alkaline environment so that oxygen can permeate the cell, nutrients can permeate the cell, and then the cell can release anything that it needs to. So this is really a 5-product support system that supports gut health, it supports your sleep, it supports flooding your system, as I've said, and therefore in that way it nourishes, detoxifies, and then helps your body repair itself in the way that it knows how to. So those of you who are joining and fully understand what this is about, for tonight and each Tuesday night throughout the fall into December, I'm going to be opening this call to support you, to help in whatever way feels like it's supportive to your process in enhancing your own vitality, in staying on track with your own journey. This really meets you where you are. You don't need to do this the way that I do it. You don't need to do it the way that anyone on this call does it. You get to do it in your own way that meets you where you are and brings you one step closer to a lifestyle that helps you live your best life. That is the goal. So I really also find, I would love to just say that this feels like an antidote for big corporations who tend to put profit before people. And I find this mission is really people and community and the environment before profit. And that's what I love about it. So I would love to enter into a conversation about weight loss in general. Weight loss is one major goal of people that enter into this 90-day process. And rather than go through the details of the 90-day process, which I'm happy to do with you, if you have any questions about that, please stay on until the end. Or if you're catching the replay, then get in touch with the person who shared it with you, and they can really help you either set up an appointment with me or understand the protocol in detail. But tonight, relative to weight loss, I'm going to be covering 5 main areas that may be a little off the beaten path to weight loss. And there are really 5 keys to weight loss success. The first is I'll run through, make the list, and then I'll go back and talk about each individually for just a minute or two. Really, the first, as I see it, is mindset, as with anything we decide to do. And so that, I'll go into detail about what that looks like from my perspective, but if first you begin to release any negativity, any shame, any judgment, any criticism of your body in general, that's really what that means for me, and making a commitment that you develop an intimate relationship with your body that is very supportive on both ends. So tip key number 2 is that sacred honoring of your unique vessel. So tip number 3 is that we are always experiencing a change in science. That some people believe that science is actually paving the way. And in some ways, I think what paves the way is our curiosity. And then science starts to help us understand what that curiosity looks like. It's really not the other way around for me. And then the 4th is that your organs desire to function in an environment that helps them to thrive. And so when we're looking at weight loss, we're really focused on helping to promote that environment, that systems, that terrain, that cleaning of the system so that the hormones can fire as they're meant to. Then the 5th tip, 5th key, is how we digest life, how we are processing life. And so I'll go back and really touch base a little more in depth on each one of these. And I love interaction. And so when I am complete with these 5, and then we hear some stories from some amazing women that have experienced some weight loss success, then there'll be time for questions, there'll be time for conversation at the end. So one, really around mindset. So you might think that mindset is like that commitment, that decision. Sure, that is part of it. That decision to have a goal of shedding weight. Okay, that is certainly step 1. But when I talk about mindset, what I'm really also thinking about is what is your messaging? What is your belief system around your weight? And so there's all kinds of messages we're given and at different ages in our life. And so those are cultural messages about what's a healthy weight. But I would love to scrub all of that from your mind and begin to have you enter into a deeper journey of an intimate relationship with your body, a love of your body as it is, so that you find your ideal weight that just equals vitality for you, and that there's a deeper love of whatever that weight is. And so it's really a mindset of letting go of self-judgment, letting go of criticism, letting go of any negativity that keeps this locked pattern and is also fed by cultural messages, perhaps messages that your family held, perhaps messages that your ancestors experienced prior to you coming onto the earth. So that's what I mean about mindset. It's really energetic. It's really a much deeper look than I'm going to set a goal of losing weight. That's not that doesn't really get it for me. What I think the goal could be is I'm setting a goal of loving myself more. So key number 2 was that sacred honoring of your unique vessel. So that really feeds into this aspect, is that we all have a healthy weight. And if you begin to compare your healthy weight with my healthy weight, then we've lost that mindset of self-judgment, self-criticism, self-comparison. And that comparison is just going to zap your joy. And so what we're looking for is a joy in your body. Being in a body with joy is what is going to bring you to that balanced weight. It's going to bring you to a lifestyle that really fulfills you. And so your body has unique language. And so you may know that you're not at a healthy weight. And so that knowing may drive your decision toward weight loss. And that's a really healthy way of going about this, but it's also very loving. And so you're looking for those messages where I just don't feel good in my body. I just feel, and you start to notice when you do feel good, when you make choices that cause you to feel good. And then those connections over ideally a 90-day period begin to repattern some of this. Relationship with your body, relationship with food, relationship with beliefs. It's really quite complex, and I think it requires some contemplation of things like what is if you were to close your eyes and begin to contemplate what you're hanging on to. What does weight mean to you? That this is really part of that mindset bleeding into honoring, is that what does the weight mean to you? What does it protect you from? What is it? What is it a part of your identity that you hold? And so these are some contemplations around this sacred self-honoring. So number 3, that change in science. Ancient medical practices have known certain things that science catch up to a bit later. And so I'll just give you a small example. I put this in the email, probably all of you read it, but I'll go into more detail. When I was first in school and like intuitively wanting to go into this kind of work with people, there was this understanding that if you ate a certain way and if you exercised a certain way, then it was a no-brainer. It was a numbers game. You would lose weight. Like that was a very simple equation. that less calories, either in burning, a calorie deficit would equal weight loss, right? Well, it has become so much more complex to the point where I don't know too many people that in my world at least, that even give any credibility to calories anymore at all. Because a calorie is not a calorie is not a calorie. And so that's one very simple example. But when you consider other science, there's science around circadian rhythm. There's science around quantum energy now. There's science around different nutrient density. There's science around our mental state and how we emotionally hang on to things. So this becomes a really beautiful opportunity that if one thing that you're doing hasn't been effective for you, then there are so many other aspects of weight loss that can come into play that probably all equal back, if you actually do the science, to your adrenals, your kidneys, your thyroid, your pituitary gland, essentially your endocrine system. And so, but all of those things, such as how you think, the amount of light you get, the amount of time in nature you get, how you process things, it really may equal back to your endocrine system, but there are many ways toward the same goal. And so science is complex, and I think the best science experiment we have is our own personal experience of what feels good, what works, how we're navigating our own journey. Like, okay, I'm interested in this. Let me think about circadian rhythm. Let me think about how much light I'm getting. Let me think about the lights I'm under during the day. How much natural light versus artificial light. And so let's see, what number is that? Okay, that was 3. So 4 is really this process of detoxification. So it all starts in your kidneys, frankly. Your kidneys have to, and your adrenals, and most of us are walking around with weak adrenals and kidneys. And so if we're not doing things to help strengthen your kidneys and your adrenals, then it's very hard for your body to filter and detoxify. And so the lymphatic system really deals in acids. It's responsible for receiving the acids from the cells and then using the lipids to pull those acids out of the system. And so when our organs are living in a soup that is not quite as clear as they'd like, then it changes how the hormones can communicate. And so one of the keys is to really think about how clean and clear you're living, so that your lymphatic system can do its job, your blood can deliver good nutrients to your cells, and that helps the body work optimally. And rather than go into the details of that detoxification process, essentially really acid-forming foods, even taking a break from them as part of your journey to just see what that is like, I highly recommend it. So that would be, if you've never experienced 30 days without dense protein in the form of meats, you might just experience it and see what it feels like in your system. That may not be the best thing for you, and you get to decide that. But if you've never experienced it, then you may not feel what that lightness is about, what that mental state is about without that dense protein. So meats and dairy for sure. Those two things, and sugar, that kind of thing starts to help clear out and detoxify the system. And let's see, I'm just going to glance at my notes. Okay, so the fifth is really about processing life. And so this is much more spiritual, it's much more emotional, and more on the mental realm of belief systems. And so if there are things we're hanging on to and not able to shed, let go of, then there may be an energetic holding on in the body as well, in the nervous system. So there is a deep relationship between the kidneys and the nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, the adrenals and the autonomic nervous system. So the adrenals have this, center part that handles the breathing and the digesting, and that autonomic, sense of things. And then there's this outer portion that handles the cortisol, the releasing of stress hormones and steroids. And so those play an integral role in the process of shedding weight and being able to digest sugars, carbohydrates properly, proteins properly, fats properly. And I think that's all related to how we're able to digest our life, what we hang on to and cycle in our thought process and in our belief system. So that can also be in 7-year cycles, perhaps. It could also be ancestral, and I think it all plays a role. So that is really maybe a very high level view of some of my approach to weight loss. And I would love to invite maybe let's hear from Sharon, if you're okay to share first. And this can be just a short thing. I am going to pin you so that we can all see you so beautifully. And I would love for you to share your journey with us, Sharon. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Well, it's interesting. I almost feel like starting with that last one because it was last July, or now how long is that? Not this past July, but the one before that, when I was facing a knee surgery that I had booked for October, and this is now July, and the doctor had said to me, the best thing you can do is lose weight. And I had tried every diet in the world over time. And so I was really asking and saying, I need something different. And this email floated in from Dana Lynn, and I didn't even know how I knew her or where this came from. But it was like, okay, it resonated with me. I didn't go to the webinar that she was posting, but I watched the replay. And I thought, oh, I liked all of the things about the regenerative farming and the pure food and the detoxification. I thought it makes sense to me. So I just connected with her and signed up for it and dove in. And I did do the 90 days and I just did it. It was kind of like a commitment to myself. So, an honoring of that. And, she asked me at the time, do you believe that you can heal your knee? Or that maybe not heal wasn't the word. Do you believe that you could avoid this knee surgery? And I said, not really. I mean, I really didn't. My mindset was really at that point that I couldn't see my way. I'd been limping around for about a year using a cane on and off. And I was in a lot of pain. So I said, but I do think that if I lose weight, the recovery will be easier. So that was like the best I was thinking I could hope for. So anyway, long story short, but I had only lost by October 1st maybe 10, 15 pounds, but my knee stopped hurting. And it really was due to the anti-inflammatory factors, I think, in terms of the pain. I wasn't in pain anymore, and it wasn't hurting to walk. And I thought, well, I don't need a knee surgery anymore. So I canceled it. I canceled it the week of the surgery. And the
Wow.
doctor said, fine, glad your knee doesn't hurt. They didn't want to push it on me. And it was amazing. And so then I continued on the journey, and I'll just show you these little before and after pictures if I can share my screen for a minute. Just because it really, for me, it's pretty amazing in terms of seeing. Oops, let me just see if I can get this. Where is it? Where did it go? Oops, whoops. It's here somewhere. Oh, I shut it, I think. Ah, sorry, it's gonna take a second. Okay. I had it all up and ready to go, but it will make it, I think. Oh, no, it's not like letting me in right now. Come in. No. Well, I think what I'm going to do is let Lavelle talk, and I will get my pictures back, which just disappeared on me. Unless they're right here. No, they're, and then I'll show them to you. But
Okay.
it was like, it's a striking difference. I did end up losing about 40 pounds, and I've kept that off now. So now I'm actually not doing the program fully. There are certain components of it that I do continue to do. And my husband also went on it after 6 months. So there was a whole lot of life change there because he was the cook in the family. And so he had to kind of be very supportive of me. But he saw the results I got, and then he ended up starting it in January of that year, and he lost 40 pounds in 6 months. And so we're both very happy with our new bodies. Yeah. So I will be quiet, and I'll go find my pictures while Lavelle talks. Thanks.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sharon. I'm grateful for your story and your personal success. Lavelle, I'm going to pin you, dear sister. So glad you're here.
I am so grateful to be here with all of you. And, Dana Lynn, thank you so much for those 5 keys. I mean, you just really wrapped it up for lots of reflection and contemplation. That was really great, really wonderful. I took some notes. I know I can watch the replay, but it's nice to hear, write, and see and make it a little bit more of an imprint in the mind. So how I came to the program was through a friend. I noticed that a friend was having really terrible skin problems, just eruptions happening in her body and things like this. And she's a fairly healthy person. And I asked her how she was doing it. And she said it was through Purium. And that meant nothing to me. So she put me in touch with Dana Lynn. And Dana Lynn and I had a Zoom meeting, and we talked about my history. So I'm very organic, very, tree hugging, love all these wonderful things. I did the HCG, I did the master cleanse. I mean, all these wonderful kinds of modalities to lose weight. I followed a wonderful Ayurvedic, I have a wonderful Ayurvedic doctor, and I lost weight in all of them, but I couldn't manage how to keep it off. Okay. So a lot of these treatments do work, but it's not for the long term because all of the keys that Dana Lynn mentioned were not addressed during the process that I was losing the weight with all of these wonderful modalities. And I have a traditional Chinese medicine doctor, and he just put me on, he said, no eating after 2 o'clock and no grains. You can have some millet and some quinoa. So it's just the irony, this confluence of the cosmos, because he had said that, and I had the meeting with Dana Lynn like 3 days later. So to be able to incorporate the traditional Chinese medicine with what Dana Lynn was explaining to me how this worked was really incredible. Because what I'm actually doing, my program for me, is I have one meal a day, and then I have the super meal in the morning, I have lunch, which is usually, 2 ounces of quinoa or kelp noodles or, some sort of good food with a vegetable, with broccoli, spinach, or some green vegetable. And I always try to make sure I have a little bit of the, what do you call that? Cabbage that's in brine, some sauerkraut, something that has been fermented along with my meals. And there's a lot of nice organic fermented cabbage and things like that. So I do that at lunchtime, and then at about 5 o'clock, I have the nourishing greens, and then it's done. It's done. And the first 2 weeks, the first week and a half, I only lost like 3 pounds. And I said, oh my gosh, is this what I'm going to have to deal with? Is the weight never going to come off? And then, I just surrendered to the mindset. Like, it really isn't about the weight loss. It's about really getting the nutrients in my body so that I can function well. And I believe for my constitution, the reason why I wasn't losing weight was because my body was not able to absorb the nutrients immediately, to create the Krebs cycle, to create all these wonderful, healthy digestive cycles. So a week in or 2 weeks in, I asked Dana Lynn, what else can I be doing to supplement my program? And she said, have you tried colonics? You know, there's the Hippocrates Institute. There's all these wonderful health institutes that endorse enemas and things like that. And I had not done that yet. And 3 weeks in, now I'm 6 weeks in, I think, 6 weeks into the program. 3 weeks in, I did the colonics, and it was a life changer. It was a life changer to see literally all this crap come out of my intestines. And it really started to move things, because when the rectum and the intestine has all this old bacteria and the old parasites and things, it cannot absorb the nutrients in our body. When we put the food in, it's just going right through because there's so much crap around the intestines that it can't get in there. So I'm on my 4th week of colonics, and the change has been really dramatic. And is it for everyone? You don't know. You don't know unless you try it. And it really, it comes to trusting yourself and trusting your body and trusting the program. And it really, you know, I really trust the process now of colonics and enema. I can't do the coffee one yet because that's acidic, but once I'm done with the 90 days, I will try the caffeine one, the coffee colonics. But yeah, am I drinking my water? Yes, I'm getting my water in. I'm still drinking some of my pu'er teas. I'm not a coffee drinker. And there was something that Dana Lynn was talking about with processed foods. Oh, processing life, in processed foods. I loved pizza. I loved dairy. I loved wheat. I love sugar. But now, because I'm really balancing the nutrients through the premium Purium products, I don't have any more craving, and that's amazing. That's really amazing, because when you look at the ingredients on the Purium products, it's all the good foods that I try to eat anyway, like the sprouted lentils, I mean, it's all there. It's all there. So when I stop the program and start to modify it, it's not introducing something new in my system. It's already there. It's just been amazing. I can't say enough about it. And I'm doing the pineal clear as well, getting the glycophosphates from the cotton from my brain, doing that. And I do take a couple of additional supplements. I do a little bit of vitamin D3 with K3. I do a little bit of triphala. A mixture of the traditional Chinese medicine as well as the Ayurvedic medicines. So, and I'm feeling much better. I'm sleeping well. I'm starting to soak my feet again. I mean, it takes time. It takes time. You have to be organized. And I don't even know if it's organized, because sometimes I don't take the pills exactly, the amino 23, the full at the same time every day, or the pineal clear. But, Dana Lynn says, just do it. Just do it. I was waiting for the perfect day to get started with the 90 days. Oh, I have this event, or I have that event, or, I'm not going to get home in time. She really just broke it down and said, you don't have to do it perfectly. Just get started. And no one ever told me that. So, and that's what I did. I just got started. I just got started. And then things started to fall into place, um, at 11:30 or 12 o'clock, I look at the clock and I say, okay, it's time for me to take my digestive enzymes. It's time for me to start thinking about lunch. And I bought a little small Instapot. I teach. I'm a professor at university, so I brought a little Instapot into my office, and all I have to do is just put a quarter cup of the quinoa in the Instapot with water, and then I have fresh lunch. I have fresh lunch, and I have a little pot as well that just boils water. Add a little bit of vegetable to that, and I have soup. I have a vegetable soup to mix with the quinoa. And some days I'll just make a lentil pasta and put it in the little kettle. And everything, you know, the attachment to food has lost its priority in terms of taste, in terms of the process. And now this is just what I do, and if I'm out with people or if I'm at an event and I can't figure out what to eat, I just bring my smoothie. I just bring the powder. I don't even try to negotiate. Well, I can eat this, I can eat that, I can eat. No, I that that is just so defeating for me. Let me just have my smoothie, and then I can be present with everyone that I'm with and not having to worry about, oh, I ate that, or oh, I don't know how that was cooked, or just like the brain just hijacking me. So now I just, if I don't eat all day and I just have 3 smoothies a day because I'm out of the house, I'm okay with that. It's called fasting. It's called intermittent fasting. What a concept, You can be all day without that actual food filling your gut where you're just getting your nutrition. So I think that's enough. But that's my journey so far with Purium, and I'm really, oh, and the parasite cleanse. Parasite cleanse was very, very important as well. Getting some things out of the colon and out of the intestines was also, very telling. But that had to be combined with, drinking at least a gallon of water a day, and just to purge myself. So, you know, I'm so glad that everybody is, on board with this because it's life changing. It is absolutely life changing. I have other protein powders at home that when I finish this 90 days, I'm going to just mix because I don't want to waste it. So I'm going to mix the protein. Yeah, it's just simple brown protein powder, brown rice protein powder. It's organic, but I'm going to it's like this big gallon thing. So I'm going to mix that with a little bit of, the nourishing greens or something like that, just so that I can, be consistent and not waste anything. So, Dana
Beautiful.
Lynn, kudos to you and thank you so much for being such a great support and such an example of presence and calm and focus because you know when you're starting this journey you just don't know what you don't know, but you've been through it, and that's where your credibility comes in, is that you've been through it. And I hope I gave you guys some tips too that will help you guys. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Lavelle. Thank you so much. And I'm just curious, could you tell us how much weight you
Oh,
think you've shed
oh,
up to this point?
yes. So now I'm happy to say I'm 21 pounds down.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've started to walk a little bit more as well. I have a yoga practice. I have a meditation practice. Thank you, Rajini. um, those are all wonderful, but I know for myself, I just have to keep moving as well. And it's good because, like you had mentioned, Dana Lynn, about the sunshine. It's very important. Now that the light is getting shorter, it's very important to get out there.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much for your voice. And so, Sharon,
Yeah, I'm gonna do my share quick.
yeah, okay, here, let
All
me,
right. This is a few years back with my first grandchild. So it was actually like 2019. And but I was this weight and I was that weight when I started Purium as well. So around 180 or so, and I'm 5'2". So it's a lot of weight. This is my third grandchild, and this is me now. So that, at 140 instead of 180, I was like, I thought it was really striking. Just same, same kind of tent, same kind of beach. And there's like half of me there. It's really fun. So that's the picture I just wanted to show you.
Beautiful. Congratulations. And what a joy to spend time with your grandchildren like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's fabulous. So, and that's the other thing. I can get down on the ground. I can play with the grandchildren. That was the motivating factor when why are you doing this? It's like, I want to be able to play with my grandchildren and get out down on the floor and move around and be able to walk. We go birding. I like to hike. I can do all those things now. We went birding this morning, 28 species, good migration day. And was traipsing all over the woods, no pain in the knee.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to close out our call. Yes, thank you both for sharing your stories and sharing so openly and giving special tips. And so I think I'll close the recording part of this. If you're catching this on the recording, get with the person who shared it with you and they can share a bit more. And please join us on these Tuesday night calls. If you're a woman in the group, you're also welcome to the Thursday morning calls, support calls. So Tuesday night, Thursday morning helps keep you accountable. Thursday mornings, we do a meditative movement practice called Wild Flow. And then Tuesdays, we'll have a variety of topics that we're talking about. Next week, there'll just be support. But the following week on October 22nd, we'll talk about sleep. So it'll be a similar approach to sleep as it was to weight loss. So much love and be well. Bye-bye.